Reuters.
It was an era that began in the fall of 1989 when the Berlin Wall came down. It ended on September 11, 2001, when U.S. soil was attacked and close to 3,000 people were killed. In America Between the Wars, co-author Derek Chollet argues that what came after 9/11 was very much defined by what came before it.
Our point with this book is to say that many of the challenges, almost all of the challenges we face as a country in foreign policy come from the era before 9/11.
He says much of what defined that era, and this one, has been Iraq, starting with the first Gulf War.
The first President Bush is widely, and his administration is widely admired by both sides of the political aisle on foreign policy. And it's often held up as an example of what to do and the type of leadership America should provide.
It is the use of the UN, says Chollet, as well as the broad multilateral support for the first Gulf War in Iraq, and the knowledge that it may be easier to employ military force than to rebuild another country. But that view of the 1990 Iraq conflict comes with hindsight.
He was much criticized, again, by Democrats in the early 1990s for failing to complete the job of the first Gulf War and leaving Saddam in power. It was for that reason that many Republicans didn't want to talk about Iraq in the 1990s, because it reminded them of this sort of blemish on their record.
Chollet argues that while many like to say everything changed on September 11, 2001, not everything did.
If we try to take off our partisan perspectives, that we can learn a lot from George H.W. Bush. We can learn a lot from Bill Clinton about how to conduct American foreign policy, and by learning about how these leaders struggled with some of the problems that we're facing here today.
In January 2009, President George W. Bush will be the third American president to hand off Iraq policy to the next occupant of the Oval Office. Deborah Lutterbeck, Reuters.